Welcome to YouTube channel, Cassie Kyle and I just thought it would be really fun, aka I thought it would be really fun, and Kyle said, sure, I'll do that. If we would share the story of how Mr. Kyle Littell proposed to me.
When we first got married, tons of people asked how the proposal went. I think I did a fairly good job.
Yeah, I think so.
I got a lot of positive feedback.
The first thing, my dad handed me this in the morning, and it says 1, 2, 3 in the envelope, which my dad didn't say anything. Like, it wasn't like, hey, Kyle asked me to give this to you. He just was like, hey, Cassie, good morning, here you go. This is for you. And I was like, this is weird. But I did recognize Kyle's handwriting. And so I opened it, and they were cheetah print cards, which I was obsessed with cheetah print at the time. And it says, come meet with me, and it gives me an address and a time to be there.
Cassie's dad was so excited to be a part of it. He was like really giddy about it. He accidentally gave her the card a day ahead of time. He gave it to her, and she was like, oh, what's this for? And he had to take it back from her. Yeah,
he was like, oh wait, shoot, that's supposed to be for tomorrow. You are really good about like doing romantic things. So this was not out of the blue. This was not out of the ordinary. I feel like it wasn't on the back of my mind because 1-2-3 was given to me at 7 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Like, no girl is waking up thinking, hey, this is going to be a day that he asked. Like, it just wasn't, I wasn't there.
I was over the top intentional to make sure she was not going to figure it out. So yeah, a random Thursday. I didn't dress up at all. I wore like a hoodie.
Yeah.
My hair was completely
buzzed,
not looking good, and I didn't shave. And so I was.
You had like these loose, weird jeans on.
I wore those all the time. She meets me at a breakfast restaurant down by the lake, and we'd been there before, but it wasn't anything fancy.
No, it wasn't. It was just a typical breakfast place. He wasn't asking me to like do anything afterwards. So I was like, okay, does this person want to hang out? Like, he went over the top to ask me to breakfast. Like, why are we just staring at each other? But when the waitress put the tab down, she also had an envelope. I was so confused, but I was like, this is cute, okay. This is 1, 2, 3. Now we get 4, 5, 6. So I opened it up, and it says, time for a walk and some pics. And he's got little like pics on here that we have, that we took when we were dating.
This card. So we go walk down by Lake Michigan. We're taking pictures. It's a lot of fun. And obviously I had set these cards up ahead of time for her to receive them. And so this next part is straight up like,
you knowing me.
God looking out for me or something.
No, I think it's just you knowing me. Like, you planned.
I knew Cassie so well.
Yes.
That it worked out 100% in the best way possible.
Because, so we were walking, and there was a coffee shop, and I was like, hey, can we go get some coffee? And you were like, okay. So I go, I get my coffee, and the girls behind the counter were super giggly, so it was kind of like off at this, I'm not typically clueless. Like, that's not who I am.
She just thought they were hitting on me.
I did. I was like, these people are really flirty with you, Kyle. But he's just like, yeah. But anyways, like, so I get a coffee, and on my coffee cup is this card. And now I'm like, mind blown, because I asked to go, and I was with you. So I was like, how could it possibly be? Like, I didn't get it. 7, 8, 9, and the card said, let's head down to our spot where we used to go all the time.
We're walking to our spot, and when we get there, it's this overlook over Lake Michigan, and there's one light pole.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of nothing. And so we get there, and I say, Cassie, what's on that light pole? And at first she didn't see it. But I was like, Cassie, go up to the light pole. I think something's on there. And so she walks up to the light pole. I stay back. She walks up to the light pole. And on the light pole, I have taped the last card. And if you can't see it,
at this point, I feel like I kind of
she was super excited. Yeah, like so she ripped it. And I stayed back for this part. And it says, a date in history that only occurs once. And if you remember the numbers on the cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the last one, 10, 11, 12, that was the date, see?
He's
that was
good.
The date, October 11th, 2012. And so, a date in history that only occurs once, the date I asked you to marry me. So it's like a twofold thing.
Yeah.
And so, she reads that, she turns around, and I'm on one knee.
Yeah.
And the cool thing, I mean, that's all cool. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, that was so good.
But the cool thing as to why these cards were there ahead of time, I didn't go out super early and distribute them all at once. I had my brother go to each location ahead of us and put these cards there. And he was hiding at the final location, so he snapped pictures of Cassie's genuine reaction.
Yeah, so this picture that you're looking at right now is my reaction to like recognizing that like everything had come together. Once I turn around, Kyle's on one knee, I'm kind of like putting it all together because my mind was just constantly blown. Like I was not expecting the next card or the next card or the next card. But when everything kind of started to settle in and I realized what was happening, my mind was blown. Like I was in complete shock. Like I didn't cry. I just kept saying, what? Like what? Like what is happening? And then it was so cute because it was during the fall and Kyle had his brother hiding with a fancy camera. And Kyle knows me so well, what we did is we had just turned around and went into like a photo shoot. And so these pictures that you're seeing are just a photo shoot, freshly engaged Kyle and Cassie.
So now you know why I don't look so good.
And I didn't know exactly like what the ring looked like when it was completely done or which one he had finally decided on. We picked the triangle diamond. It represents like God, husband, wife, and that's a really important part for our relationship and our marriage is God first. It was very creative, and he had like a little present for me. Of a picture of the ring, a picture of us as a couple. The date was like not engraved, but like written on the picture frame, and he had like a special note for me on the back of the picture frame. And aww,
yeah. Just for my prideful self, I want to know. Leave in the comments 10 out of 10. You know, how awesome was that proposal out of 10, and let us know your thoughts and share with us yours if you're married. We would love to hear your story as well.
Thanks for following our journey so far on YouTube. It's been fun to see your guys' comments and likes and views. We really appreciate it a lot. So thank you guys for joining us on this journey.